Today, we are doing something different. You're going to test your real English level simply by listening to short real-life scenarios. Here is how it works. You listen. If a scenario feels easy, perfect, move to the next one. When you reach a scenario that suddenly feels heavy, confusing, or too fast, that's your real level. No grammar, no vocabulary lists, no pressure, just pure understanding. Take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and let your brain to do its job naturally. Let's begin. Level A1. Beginner. A1 English is basic, simple, and very clear. Short sentences, common verbs, everyday actions. If the story feels completely easy, you're at least A1. The morning routine. My name is Leo. I am 24 years old. I live in a small apartment with my brother. We have one bedroom, one kitchen, and one bathroom. Our home is clean and quiet. Every morning, I wake up at 6:30. I get out of bed, wash my face, then I go to the kitchen. I make tea, and I eat bread with cheese. Sometimes I eat an egg. My brother likes coffee, but I like tea more. After breakfast, I take my bag and leave home. I work in a bakery. I walk for 8 minutes. I like my job. I help customers put bread on the shelves and clean the counter. At 12, I eat lunch. I usually eat soup or rice. After lunch, I talk with my coworker, Anna. She's friendly and funny. At 4, I finish work and go home. I take a shower, relax, and watch TV. I cook dinner with my brother. We talk, eat, and laugh. I go to bed at 10. I am tired, but happy. Okay, if you understand this easily, congratulations. Your level is A1 or higher. Level A2, elementary. A2 English has longer sentences, more details, and simple descriptions of plans and routines. If this feels comfortable and natural, you are at least A2. The weekend trip. My name is Sarah, and I live in a small town near the mountains. I work in a bank during the week, so my days are usually busy and a little stressful. That's why I love weekends. Last Saturday, I wanted to visit a lake that is about 1 hour from my home. The weather was sunny, so it was a perfect day for a short trip. I made a quick breakfast, packed a small bag, and left at 9. The road was quiet and I enjoyed listening to music in my car. When I arrived at the lake, I took a long walk near the water. The air was fresh and many families were having picnics. After walking, I sat on a bench and read my book for almost an hour. I don't read much during the week, so weekends are my reading time. Around noon, I bought a sandwich from a small cafe near the lake. The woman who worked there recognized me from last year. We talked for a few minutes and she recommended a new walking path. In the afternoon, I followed her suggestion and walked the new path. It was quiet and beautiful. I took some pictures and enjoyed the peaceful atmosphere. At around 5, I drove home. I felt relaxed and ready for a new week. Okay, if this felt clear and easy to follow, your level is A2 or higher. Are you ready for the next one? Level B1, intermediate. B1 English is more connected. Stories include problems, feelings, and small challenges. If you follow the message easily, you're at least B1. The new job challenge. My name is Daniel, and 3 months ago, I started a new job as a customer support assistant for an online store. I was excited but also nervous because it was my first time working in a completely digital environment. On my first day, everything felt confusing. I had to learn how to use different computer programs, answer emails professionally, and solve problems quickly. My manager told me, "Don't worry. Everyone needs time. Just ask when you need help." That sentence helped me relax. The first 2 weeks were the most difficult. I made mistakes almost every day. Sometimes I sent the wrong messages to a customer. Other times I forgot to save a file. But little by little, things improved. One customer had a problem with a package that got lost. He was angry and wrote a long message. I took a deep breath, stayed calm, and explained the situation clearly. I apologized and sent him a solution. The next day, he replied, "Thank you for your help. I appreciate your kindness." That moment gave me confidence. Now, after 3 months, I feel much better. I understand how to handle difficult situations and know when to ask for help. My manager told me last week, "You're doing great. Keep going." And for the first time, I actually believe it. If this felt easy to follow, you are B1 or higher. Let's go to the next level. Level B2, upper intermediate. B2 English is natural, descriptive, emotional, and includes cultural details. If you understand this without getting lost, you're at least B2. The big move abroad. My name is Olivia, and last year I made one of the biggest decisions of my life. I moved from my home country to Canada for a new job opportunity. For years, I dreamed of living abroad, but I always found excuses. Too expensive, too risky, too far from family. But deep down, I knew that if I didn't try, I would regret it forever. So, after months of preparation, I finally bought my ticket. The day I arrived Toronto, I was shocked by how different everything felt. The weather was cold, people moved fast, and the city looked huge and confusing. The first month was the hardest. I didn't understand the local accent very well. I sometimes felt embarrassed asking people to repeat themselves. Even simple things like opening the bank account or buying a metro card felt complicated. But slowly life became easier. I met friendly coworkers who invited me to lunch. I joined a weekend hiking group where I met people from different countries. I started to understand jokes, cultural references, and small expressions that people use in daily life. The biggest challenge was feeling alone. Some nights I thought about going back home, but then I reminded myself why I came: to grow, to learn, to become stronger. Now, after 1 year, Canada feels like home. I don't regret my choice at all. In fact, it changed me more than I expected. All right, my friends, if this felt smooth and understandable, your level is B2 or higher. Let's go to the next level, C1, advanced. C1 English is more abstract and deeper. Ideas connect tightly and the language is fast and expressive. If you follow this clearly, you're at least C1. The weight of decisions. My name is Adrian, and over the past year, I've learned something surprising about decisions. They rarely feel important in the moment. They become important later when their consequences begin to unfold. Last spring, after 8 years in the same company, I walked into my manager's office and resigned. Not because of conflict, or salary, or pressure. It was something quieter, a feeling that had stopped me growing without noticing. The months that followed were disorienting. When you walk away from something stable, you don't only leave your job, you leave your identity, your routine, your sense of direction. You wake up in the morning and suddenly realize you have to rebuild the map you've been following for years. To clear my mind, I started taking long walks with no destination. The silence forced me to face questions I had avoided. What do I truly want? What am I afraid of? What kind of life feels meaningful to me? Very slowly, pieces of clarity begin to appear, not as big answers, but as small realizations. I eventually accepted a consulting project that challenged me more than anything I had done before. The pace was fast. Expectations changed constantly, and mistakes were unavoidable. But for the first time in years, I felt awake, really awake. Looking back, I understand that leaving wasn't about escaping the job. It was about creating the space to discover the person I had become. If this felt clear and manageable, congratulations! Your level is C1 or higher. Let's go to the next level. Level C2, expert, mere native. C2 English is subtle, philosophical, emotional, and filled with nuance. If you follow this without difficulty, your English is extremely advanced. The silence between moments. My name is David, and lately I've been thinking about the quiet intervals in life, the spaces that exist not inside moments, but between them. The transition we rarely notice, where something ends, something new begins, and yet nothing is clearly defined. Most people assume transformation happens through dramatic events, a career shift, a breakup, a sudden opportunity. But I've come to believe the opposite. Real transformation unfolds slowly, almost invisibly, like the way shadows move across a room without drawing attention. Earlier this year, I spent a month alone in a small coastal cabin. My intention was productivity, read more, write more, plan more. But the environment had its own logic. The constant rhythm of the waves dissolved my structure. and the silence forced my mind to wander into corners I had ignored for years. Old memories surfaced, not sharply, but softly, like fragments of a story I once lived but never fully understood. Patterns appeared, connection I had never made before quietly revealed themselves. One evening, as the light faded and the sky turned the color of deep ash, I realized something unsettling. I had spent so much of my life preparing for the future that I had forgotten how to inhabit the present. That month didn't answer my questions, but it changed the way I carried them. I began to see time not as a straight line, but as a series of overlapping moments, each holding the truth that only becomes visible when the noise finally disappears. Okay, my friends, if this felt natural and understandable, your English is C2 or near native. You've just listened through all the levels, from beginner all the way to expert. And now you know something important. When one scenario felt comfortable and the next one suddenly felt heavy, that's your real level. Remember, your level is not a label. It's not your limit. It's simply your starting point. And your starting point is exactly where you're supposed to be. Before you go, tell me your level in the comments. I really want to see where you are. And if you enjoyed this test, make sure you subscribe. We have many more episodes coming. I'm proud of you for showing up today.